Alrighty, friends, we are back. It's your favorite podcast show of the week. This is Location Weekly, and we are recording episode number 700. Yes, we've been doing this for a long time. This is 700 episodes. But yeah, kind of cool to be coming into the end of the year and hitting another milestone. How are you doing, Aubrey? Huh?
Yeah, super excited. I can't believe I was thinking back, like, when did I start? It was definitely in the 200s. So that is a lot of episodes we have under our belt. And
Yeah.
I'm good, I am feeling the holiday spirit and just had some fun parties this weekend with friends and neighbors and kids and all those things. So it's a good time and I'm ready to just like step back and disconnect, but not quite there yet.
Yeah. Okay. Gotta get to the end of the week, and then I think pretty much everything shuts down. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so all good. All right, well, we have four stories we want to walk you through for this week, and I'll let Aubriana start us off.
All right, let's start in Singapore, where Intercontinental or IHG is starting something called the Home of Champagne, right? They have this campaign, and I wouldn't even call it a campaign, it's just like a service that they're offering. And I think this is really cool. They have one of the largest hotel champagne collections. They have over 200 bottles, and this location specifically is also home to an official caveu for the Embassy of Confrérie. I have no idea how to say this, but it's something really fancy. If you're into champagne and into wine, this is apparently what you want to be like, where you want to be going, and what kind of a person you want to have there. I don't know if it's like a sommelier, but it's for champagne, is my guess. Anyways, now this luxury brand is like trying to figure out how do we have this like really unique and novel way to offer this. So visitor guests can drive in to their hotel courtyard, right? So you think of like where the lobby is, like where you're going to check in. You can order a bottle of champagne from this curated menu that they have. Wait a few minutes, and a butler is going to bring you the selection that you've chosen, as well as, a gift box that comes with two champagne flutes. Or you could choose to have it come with caviar. So very like, I don't know, high end. It just sounds like really fancy. And they're saying this is kind of a logical next step. This is like the convenience with the luxury. The menu lists more than 30 champagnes. It's all curated in collaboration with some of the sommeliers of Park 90, which is a Singapore-based wine club that also maintains an outpost there at the specific hotel. And a lot of them are not just commercial champagne. So this is more of like the smaller champagne houses. So you can think of this as being a little more bespoke. I think this is really great. They're like, we're not worried about people drinking and driving because typically, people who are spending a few $100s on a bottle of champagne are not, going to be popping that in the car, or they're going to have someone driving them. They're probably picking it up as a gift or on the way home, or like, on the way to a party. So I think that this is really cool. I think it's good timing in terms of like the end of the year, the holidays. And I love that they are thinking about the convenience factor. Like, how often do you need a nice bottle of wine to go to a dinner party? No, I'm not saying I would be driving through Intercontinental Hotel to spend $300 on a, bottle of champagne to take to my dinner parties, but I think there's a lot of people who would. So I love this. I think that this is a great way to merge that location, convenience, and you still get to have like traffic that is high end that's showing up to the hotel, and probably showcasing it as a nice place to be and be seen. What do you think?
I think it's super cool. Obviously, if you've got a massive collection like they do of 200 different kinds of champagne, why not try to find interesting ways to, showcase that and create, exposure for it, and maybe draw in some new customers, especially at this time of year, where you can, celebrate the season, right? So I really like it. Obviously, the concept of of a drive-through in this case, I think is different and, creates a uniqueness to it. So I think it's a cool move by them. Yeah, so the whatever the the Confrérie du Salvador that you were talking about is interesting. I was kind of Googling it while you were talking. So it's like basically this like secret society kind of club thing that you can belong to, and they have these like special sabers or swords, kind of like a fencing kind of sword, and kind of like have this, sort of where the sword and the bottle kind of come together. So it's kind of interesting to think about that in terms of what they're doing there. So it's like to me that adds another layer to it, right? Where it's like this, I'm part of a special club. I can become a member of this society. Um, of the gold sword, which is kind of interesting. So, and it can only do it at this particular location where the embassy is. So, um, yeah, not a lot to add to it. I mean, I think it would be, if I wanted to nitpick something, I would say like it would be interesting to see if there was some sort of digital component to this, that could be captured and shared to further, extend the exposure and the brand experience. But I really like it. I think it's fun, and if you're into champagne and you want to celebrate the season and you're in Singapore, then I say go do it. I'm certainly going to let our LBMA Singapore chapter people know about it. So.
There you go.
All right, switching to less fancy and less holiday, we're going to talk about IGA, the Independent Grocers Alliance. They made an acquisition in the last weeks here. They've acquired InMar's Scanner Applications, which is a media company that uses scanner-based retail promotions to adjust claims and provide analytics, and it's also used in fraud control. So it's interesting because here you have a grocery chain operator, and we've talked about them in the last number of months, in terms of everybody else, building these sort of media networks, retail media networks within their stores. Um, but now we're seeing, these guys like acquire technology companies and media companies, and they say that it's, this is about, having more control over the system. With IGA, you have a lot of independent, as the name says, sort of franchise-like operators within the network. And, so they're going to rename this acquisition. They're just going to call it Scan Apps. They're keeping all the employees, and sort of becomes part of the wider IGA, network. But what they're really going at, the CEO, John Ross, was saying that the complexity of loading promotions and serving ads across thousands of different stores, creates a lot of, friction for the independent, shoppers, and sometimes they miss out on savings that, larger grocery chains, can provide more easily. And so they wanted to have control of the technology. They wanted to kind of, move in this direction, with this acquisition. And they say with this app, the brand can pick its target audience, run an offer right on the grocery store shelf, without worrying about, is that integrated to the point of sale system or things like that. So I think it's, for me, I find it fascinating that, you know, what it wasn't even 10 years ago where we weren't talking about retail media networks in grocery stores or any of these kinds of things. They were just focused on selling products and end cap displays and the usual kinds of promotions. And here we have grocery retailers and big box retailers buying technology companies now because they see the power of controlling that ecosystem within their stores. And so I think it's fascinating. I think it's interesting. I think it's a good move for IGA, who has 6,300 stores globally, by the way, 2,100 in the US, which is a lot. So makes sense that they have their own tech. Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
I think that you summarized it so nicely, and you were talking about like their network, and they've had a few different acquisitions lately, including this one that I think is positioning them for longer term success. So they noted that they acquired in 2020 Advay Media Group to make marketing and advertising more affordable. And then last year they had an acquisition of a marketing consultancy firm called What Brands Want. And so I think that when you're thinking, oh, that one focuses more on like shopper marketing and brand strategy, and think about it from an analytics perspective. So like, how do you take all of this data and make it more relevant for shoppers, but also for those actual supermarket retailers, and feed that back into them. So I think they're thinking about like, okay, we have this big puzzle, like this solves one piece, this is solving another piece, and I like how they're compiling and putting that together. I think that's
Yeah. And I think the other question too that pops into my mind when you see things like this is, yeah, it's great that they've acquired this, but do they keep it as a competitive advantage against, other bigger grocery chains? Or are they potentially, with all these acquisitions together, creating media, services and tech services that they can, sell to other, retailers out in the marketplace? Kind of like how Westfield and companies like that have built, all sorts of real estate tech, that they sell, to competitors and partners alike. So I wonder if that's part of the strategy.
I'll have to watch and see. We'll catch it here. All right, let's go to a place that probably a lot of people are shopping at right now, Target. They have debuted what is called their Bullseye Gift Finder. And this is their generative AI product recommendation tool. So I was checking it out a little bit this morning and updated my Target mobile app and was trying to find it. And did find it eventually, but it's on their mobile app and on their website, and it gives, they say, personalized product recommendations, for kids based on factors such as age, hobbies, favorite brands, some other criteria. And so it gives some gift ideas once you kind of go through that process, which I'm going to comment on in just a second. They're also experimenting with some new Gen AI powered shopping assistant, a chatbot that answers questions and gives more product recommendations. And then they also had recently debuted their Gen AI tool for their staff, right? So helping them answer questions and understand the company procedures. And so far, they're happy with how it's performing, according to the COO there. And they're saying they're testing more AI applications for this year and in the future to improve the shopping experience. So my commentary is, just as a consumer, and I shop on the Target app a fair amount, because there's some great features there, like I can get it delivered, was shipped really fast to my door. If I need something last minute, like a birthday gift for a kid. I can also get some grocery items in there, just a couple things that I might need. So I think there's a lot of great things about Target and the application that they've built in. It took me a little while before I had to like start looking through the app, and I even searched for the Bullseye, product recommendation tool. And then finally, like there was a little bubble that popped up. If I do you want to try it? Try our AI tool. And I was like, okay, there it is. And what it is really just like a filtering mechanism, honestly. It's a little disappointing, like for me, knowing how AI and like how it can work. It's kind of like you only get to choose one thing. You get to choose the age group of the person, and it's like kids, tweens and teens, adults, family, like that's it. And then it goes to the next thing, like what are they interested in? And you can only choose one. So you can choose like toys or crafts or sports or things like that, right? And so it's only letting you choose one thing. There's no like actual age selection. So I think there's a big difference between like what my 7-year-old might enjoy and what my 9 or almost 10-year-old might enjoy. That's a big gap for me, or what a 3-year-old could enjoy. Like there's a big range of things there. And then it's like, what about what brands are they into? So it could be like Disney, or, and then it just gives you a list. I actually find that just typing in like gifts for 7-year-old girls came up with a broader list that allowed me to look that way versus the AI option. So it's a little disappointing. I think that by integrating something more around like an LLM, like large language model, where you could just like actually talk, hey, help me find a Christmas gift for my daughter, like who am I buying it for, right? I think that that's context, right? Their age, like you can tell them more about what they're interested in. I think that would be like so much better than what is there today. But, what I do like, I'll give like kudos, is that they're trying this. This is just probably like a springboard for them to do something else and see what works and what doesn't work. And this is where they'll start. So, congratulations for trying something new. Maybe this is helpful for some people. And I'm excited to see how they build on this.
I don't have much to add to this one. We obviously being up here in Toronto, we don't have Target anymore, so it's difficult for me to try things like this out when we don't have access to it. But I think from a technology perspective, Target is always trying to stay current, and build these capabilities into their apps and their online presence, like everybody else in this space. So, they're historically have always had a sort of a leading role in technology implementation and experimentation. And, so I just see this as, sort of being there, in the right place, and doing the right things at this time. So, again, not a lot to add to it, but, I'm glad you were able to find it in there and get some answers. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, kind of sticking with that same, sort of genre and theme, we're going to talk about Walmart now. And they've been doing a lot with generative AI as well. And so they've accelerated what they're calling their adaptive retail strategy. And they're combining generative AI, augmented reality, and personalization to create immersive experiences in both the Walmart and Sam's Club stores, apps, and websites. And to your point, one of the things that they've focused on is developing large language models. They call their large language model Wallaby. And so they're implementing this into their support apps, like both for customer facing apps as well as internally for staff. And it can work with other LLMs as well, but they've kind of really tailored this based on decades of data, for the Walmart customer and Walmart store environments. They've also created an AI-powered content decision platform that tries to predict what customers want to see on its website. And the goal here is they believe that, every customer coming to their website should actually have a personalized, unique homepage that is showing you things that the engine is determining that are things that you care about or are interested in. So we're kind of familiar with this type of model from Amazon, and all the data they have, but again, this is an AI powered decision platform. So I think that's also quite interesting and useful, that they're blending these things together. And one stat that popped out in the article I was reading, they said that the average customer spends 6 hours searching and browsing online every week for, these types of products that are available at a Walmart. So that's a lot. That might be more than people are spending, watching TV now. I don't know, but it's a big number. Um,
They're
yeah.
probably doing it while they watch TV.
Yeah, there you go. So, dual screen action. So, um, yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to pull out from this is they said that they've used generative AI to create and improve the quality of more than 850 million pieces of data across their entire product catalog. And so I think this is interesting too, because when I was out at a conference recently, and there was some presentation from, Meta, on kind of what they're doing around their platforms and content creation tools for publishers, who are, selling things or listing things in their marketplaces, that they're really focused on AI to aid in that process and make that process, as streamlined as possible. So, I've got a product I want to sell, using AI to basically generate imagery, for that product, using AI to generate the descriptions of that product and so this is what they're talking about here with 850 million pieces of data across their product catalog, and then optimizing that for online and mobile devices and so on and so forth. So I think this is really great work that they're doing. And excited to see where that's going to go for Walmart. So
Yeah, I think this is great. I think this is a wonderful application. They have so much data within their mobile app, from their stores, from their media. There's just like so much that they can really glean from, outside of what's available publicly. So I think this is wonderful. And anything that they can do to really, one, I think this is going to definitely increase basket sizes. It's also going to decrease the amount of time that it takes for someone to make that purchase. And I think that the more that people go through that process and find it super easy, the more repeat customers they're going to get as well. There's times that I think that Walmart is very difficult to navigate with the amount of products that they have that are from in their stores and then ones that they can get like outside their stores. And so I think that this is going to make it definitely more contextual, more personalized. And I think they're the right people to do it. So
There you go. And you heard it here on Location Weekly. So you've been listening and watching episode number 700. We thank you for your loyalty and for being, a part of this each week. We appreciate all of you. If we've talked about your company today and you have, more that you'd like to share, we'd love to hear from you. If you have a story that you think we should be sharing on the show, let us know about that as well. But we'll be back next week, not with our regular show, but with our annual prediction show for what we think is happening in 2025. And so we'll invite you to tune in for that. But until then, have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
take care.
Bye.